anywhere in the world. And what you see, what our mission boils down to, which makes me really proud being able to lead such a school, is when you are at our graduation ceremonies, and you hear students talking what they've done during 4 years of study here. And I stress the point 4 years, because most bachelor programs are 3 years. We said, nope, you need an extra year. Why do we want that? Because the practical application. You have to have been abroad for a semester of study. You have to have done a placement abroad. You have to have done your, if you want to, your graduation report also at a company somewhere abroad. So some of these students, they may come from China and say they spend a year abroad, half on a placement in England, or on a study abroad in Germany, and a graduation report that they did in America. I mean, it's all possible. And this is what makes our graduates very valuable for international companies, or internationally minded companies.
And do you have some examples of the kind of partner universities or companies that our students are partnering with? We work with people like Microsoft, for example, you know, and
yeah.
Some of these kind. Have you got any examples of how we can help sell the program based on some of these connections to commercial?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got a sign on my wall over there indicating we have contact with over 250 companies. Makes it a bit difficult for me to single out a few, but I do know that, let's say, the bigger multinationals, this is where we have our graduates, at Philips, at Siemens, SAP, Microsoft. Yeah, really all over the world is where our students end up. This is also very interesting, because at a certain stage it might look that, hey, where do our graduates go? Because some people in statistics couldn't find their jobs back in the Netherlands. And then nationally we had to indicate, yeah, this goes for all similar programs too in the international business and management studies. Our graduates are really all over the world. If we have 20 or 30% staying behind in the Netherlands, that's much. So I'd say we really live up to that international reputation for international companies. Yeah. And then it's a bit hard for me to single out a few.
No, that's right. Part of me trying to just get little sound bites as well. There's an element of that.
Okay, yeah.
What would you say are some of the main reasons why students should come to IBS to study here?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have a unique selling proposition in marketing terms, or in normal English, something that they should really go to us for if they fit the description. You know what I think, as I explained before, we value being practice oriented, but still, we're higher education. I mean, within 4 years you can get a BBA degree here, including 2 experiences at companies. For example, within 5 years, if you add another year and you are also a bit scientifically minded and analytically minded, you can take your MSc within 5 years. So you get 4 years, within 4 years you get a BBA, and within 5 years an MSc, Master of Science degree, and not just a degree, but also within that Master of Science year, you have another half year spending this at a company where you investigate an actual complex and intricate, perhaps even a wicked problem that you help solve. And for this you learn how to analyze, how to create the very best solution for this company's problem. And at the same time you're showing to a company how good you are. This could be your first job on graduation. But I can safely say within the Netherlands right now, there is not one other program where within 5 years you get your MSc in a funded program, funded by the Dutch government, meaning you don't pay huge tuition fees, but the regular tuition fee, within 5 years you graduate. And then something else, Groningen is the best student city of the Netherlands. And it's not me only who's saying that. Yeah, I've lived here most of my life, so I can vouchsafe that that is true. But moreover, if you look at the Dutch student evaluations that are national every year, it's 35 cities in the Netherlands where, that you can speak out for. And Holland's been #1 for 5 years now. Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. Groningen has been the #1 student city within the Netherlands, voted by students out of 35. So this is a real top element for people who like living among people their own age. I mean, anywhere between 17 and 25, even 30 if you want. And for parents, I will say another item which is part of our USP, it's among the safest cities in the Netherlands. If you look at crime rates in the Netherlands, you're safe in Groningen. And this is something that, as a parent, I can let you know this is important too. This is you can feel safe here, and so these elements make I think the BBA and the MSc program on top of each other make it stand out.
Yeah, one thing I don't know quite how to phrase it, but it would be interesting to talk about when our graduates move to a company, what sort of level they go in at. So they're not just going in at, they're valued because of their experience and stuff, and quite often they're going into a management type position,
Oh, yeah,
for example,
yeah.
as we've seen. Is there something you could say about that?
Definitely, yes, absolutely. The feedback we get from companies is that, hey, we can use your students straight away. When they come to us, we can immediately deploy them. We can set them to work straight away. Whereas students who come from research universities, they may have had much more knowledge or theoretical backgrounds than ours have, but they are not so immediately deployable. Our students can be set to work straight away. And actually there was an interesting sort of battle by companies at the local research university here downtown, where for example, our MSc students and their students tackle the practical problem. And ours won that because they are used to tackling a problem, looking at it from different angles and creating a solution. Not being stuck in, on the one hand this, perhaps on the other that. No, they may do that, but then they will say, okay, now we know everything. What is it? What is the solution we've come to? Based on the information we've had, this is what we could do. And that kind of, let's say, practical employability is what makes them stand out. But I should stress perhaps that it's not only just being practical. We value we want to remodel our program into theory, skills project. Theory, skills project. That's not all of our education, but a lot of it is like that. It means that you learn what you have to learn in terms of theory on marketing, finance, HR, supply chain, IT, whatever it is. That's the theory. Then you learn the skills, how to work with all that and how to make it something valuable proposition for a company. And in the project you can show that. That's where the integration takes place. Because that is such an important, vital part of our educational concept. That is also what creates then that students are very easily deployable, and particularly also for let's say multinational companies that might be easy because they're used to the international, but also for small and medium-sized enterprises, it's easier because such companies do not always have a lot of time and money available for students to learn a job, to become a professional. They need people to be on top of the job from day one, and that's probably what we're very good at. This is what we get back from companies.
Fantastic. Maybe you could talk a little bit, I'm gone well off the list, but maybe you could talk a little bit about the facilities here for students, for example. You touched on Groningen, but the facilities here at the Hansa, for example, or anything like that, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends also very much if you come from the Netherlands or from outside. But for both groups, we see to it that they get in their introductory period when they come here, that they feel at home as soon as possible. Hansa always organizes an international welcoming day at the end of August or at the end of January, early February for the exchange students and all the international students who come to study here for a much longer time. And that's important for people to feel at home as soon as possible. Sometimes there may be issues with housing, but Hansa students have never had real issues with finding housing in time. Even when times are difficult, we facilitate that. We see to it that students get housed in time, get accommodated in time. And these are the things we find important, but also while studying, the facilities are also there for what we call academic advisors. So there's always somebody that you can go to. If you're stuck in something that you find hard to get an answer to, there's always an academic advisor who will be able to help you out, if not the teacher, him or herself. So there's that, and also student counselors. Sometimes people have bigger issues that they need an answer to, or personal problems that they find difficult, and then we always have student counselors, Hansa-wide, who see to it. And then looking at housing itself, we are building new buildings right now, trying to finish it as soon as possible, which are really purpose-built, state-of-the-art.
Can you talk about the new building maybe, because what
Yeah.
I'm thinking is we're going to blend some footage
Right.
of.
Right.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the new building. What's it going to be like? What the advantages?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, since most of our education is also aimed at working at a small scale, we don't have too many big lecturing theatres. We have some, but most of them are, let's say, classrooms for, let's say, 30, 35 people max. And then in our new building, what they made possible is sort of there's a big atrium, which is a highly valued place by students because you can get lunches there and dinner, and you can sit there, do your project. It's a nice study landscape, as we call this, which is a bit like a terrace built, where you often find students sitting together, working on a project, or just chatting, or just having a sandwich or a meal. But around this atrium, we will have two U-shaped big wings on both sides, and the International Business School will be part of the other angle from where we are right now. On the northern part of that, the northern U shape is where we will have our very purpose-built modern setup, where there will be cubicles for students to work in, where there will be meeting places where they can talk to their academic advisor, or to their teachers, or anybody, or just have a good time and sit back and relax. So I think it will be fine, and lots of places to park either your car or your bicycle, because the Dutch are very fond of biking, and most of our international students learn it from day one. So that's all very easily accessible to everybody. And what I hear, and I come